Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this afternoon's tropical update. This video is primarily going to be focusing on Invest 98L, but we are watching Hurricane Fiona as of 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Fiona remains a powerful Category 4 hurricane with 130 mile per hour winds, a 937 millibar minimum central pressure, and northerly movement at 9 miles per hour. We have Tropical Storm Gaston, which has intensified more than expected, which now has 65 mile per hour winds, a minimum central pressure of 1,000 millibars, and northeasterly movement at 14 miles per hour, and could threaten the Azores Islands over the next 3 to 5 days. And then we have a system coming off of Africa with a 50% chance of tropical cyclone formation over the next 5 days and a 30% chance over the next 48 hours, and another wave in the east central Atlantic with a 20% chance of tropical cyclone formation over the next 48 hours, 30% chance over the next 5 days. But looking at Invest 98L, we have a 70% chance of tropical formation over the next 48 hours and a 90% chance of tropical formation over the next 5 days. Looking at 98L on the satellite, we are seeing is still a disorganized tropical wave bringing showers and thunderstorms to the Southern Windward Islands. We're seeing heavy rain showers go over Trinidad and Tobago, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as well as Grenada and Barbados. And the showers and storms will continue for the next several hours as Invest 98L continues to move west and the islands go onto the east side of the system, which just like tropical cyclones is the wet side. Looking at the shear, so the reason Invest 98L is not developing yet is it is still contending with about 15 to 25 knots of wind shear, and this is coming from the outflow of Hurricane Fiona, and this is likely to influence Invest 98L for at least the next 2 to 3 days. So I don't really anticipate any tropical development over the next 2 to 3 days. But after that, I believe that we're going to be seeing not rapid intensification, but quick intensification as it moves into the Central Caribbean. Looking at the European model, you can see that we have Invest 98L bringing showers and storms to the Southern Windward Islands, and going into tomorrow, the showers and storms will move across northern Venezuela and the ABC Islands. Going into Friday, we are still looking at a disorganized tropical wave moving north of Colombia and south of Haiti. And then as we get into Sunday, September the 25th, this is when we're going to start to likely see development of the system into a tropical depression and likely a tropical storm by Sunday south of Jamaica. So if you're in Jamaica or Central America and Cuba, pay very close attention to 98L over the next several days. Going into Monday the 26th, we have a tropical storm about 100 miles west of Jamaica in the European model. And going into the 27th, next Tuesday, we could be seeing a rapidly intensifying hurricane nearing Cuba. And then as we go into the 28th, this is now 7 days out. So from this point forward, take the models with a little bit of a grain of salt. The 28th, we have a rapidly intensifying hurricane moving across southern Florida. And then this latest European model wants to curve a hurricane back into Georgia and or South Carolina by Friday, September the 30th. So we're going to have to continue to watch these model trends. But if you're anywhere in the central western Caribbean or anywhere across the Gulf Coast and Southeast, you need to be monitoring Invest 98L very closely over the next several days. Looking at the GFS model, the GFS model has the disorganized wave bringing the showers to Trinidad and Tobago, St. Vincent the Grenadines, and the Barbados and Grenada this afternoon and continues through the next 24 hours. We see an increase in heavy rain across northern Venezuela and the ABC Islands by Friday. And going into Saturday, the system in the GFS starts to develop potentially into a tropical depression. And like the European, by Sunday, we could be seeing a tropical storm. But the GFS model has the storm further southwest than the European model. So the GFS actually brings a strengthening Category 1 hurricane very close to Nicaragua and Honduras by Monday, September the 26th. So if you're in these areas, you should also be watching Invest 98L closely. And then going into Tuesday, the 27th, the GFS shows a major hurricane approaching Belize and the Yucatan Peninsula. And then going into the 28th, the GFS makes a landfalling major Category 4 hurricane in the Yucatan Peninsula. And then from this point forward, take them all with a grain of salt. The GFS moves the hurricane into the South Central Gulf, and by Friday, September the 30th, we have a major Category 3 or 4 hurricane in the Central Gulf. And let me tell you, if the hurricane gets into the Gulf like this, it'll likely be a Cat 4 or Cat 5 at landfall. And the GFS model wants to make a landfall somewhere between Alabama and western Florida by Sunday, October the 2nd. So we're going to have to continue to keep a close eye on these model runs to see where 98L is going to end up moving. Looking at the spaghetti model plots for where 98L is going to be moving, it's going to be moving north of Venezuela and across the ABC Islands over the next 24 to 36 hours, and over the next 2 to 5 days. It will be passing between Jamaica and Central America, and many of the models curve it towards the Gulf of Mexico in the next 6 to 7 days. Looking at the intensity models, most of the models keep Invest 98L weak over the next 3 days as they're picking up on the northeasterly wind shear associated with Hurricane Fiona. But by the time we get to 4 days from now, most of the models start to rapidly intensify Invest 98L into a Category 1 hurricane, Category 2 hurricane in the next 5 days, and a Category 3 in the next 6 to 7 days. So we are really going to have to watch the intensity on this thing, because it could be posing a big threat to the United States. And then finally, we're going to be looking at rainfall totals from Invest 98L across the Caribbean. So we can expect an additional 2 to 3 inches of rain across Trinidad and Tobago, as well as St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada. Barbados could get another 3 to 4 inches according to the European model, and the ABC Islands could be seeing 2 to 4 inches. Looking at the GFS model for additional rain across the Caribbean, the GFS model is more excited about bringing heavier rainfall totals to Trinidad and Tobago, with the GFS bringing about 3 to 5 inches, but less rainfall to St. Vincent, the Grenadines, Grenada, and Barbados, with about 1 to 2 inches there over the next 24 hours, and then the ABC Islands about 3 to 5 inches, as well as areas of northern Venezuela and Colombia. So I will continue to keep my eye out on Invest 98L as the days progress. I'll also be keeping an eye on Fiona for Bermuda and Canada. Thanks for watching this afternoon's tropical update. Stay safe and have a wonderful day, my friends.